Hello. Since I just recently earlier today featured a bunch of PvE where I was playing the Cleveland, I figured I might show off some of the more amusing aspects of the new flags combined with the Cleveland. Now, the matchmaking, a lot of tier 7s, a ton of tier 7s. This isn't uncommon when you play tier 6, but it's something you have to prepare for, that yes, you will probably get up-tiered quite a lot. And as you can see here, there is a ton of up-tiering going on. Luckily, tier 7 carrier is not really an issue for the Cleveland, because I run a heavy anti-air build on my Cleveland, so this of course shreds planes. I pop defensive AA hoping to snipe some planes, but he instantly pulls back. Obviously this carrier knows to actively avoid any Clevelands. Overall though, what I wanted to showcase here was I'm going for my daily win on my Cleveland here. It's only a 50% bonus, so it's not really a big deal, but when you start combining this with all the flags from the hood boxes, that's when the bonuses start getting pretty damn interesting. Some people taking pot shots at me, I think it was the Graf Spray, possibly the Fuso as well. I'm just sneaking close, to be fair, and I'm using the terrain to my advantage. Yes, they can see me, but they have a really hard time shooting me at this moment. Much like the Atlanta, the Cleveland loves positions like this. Positions where you can shoot over islands and in general just be sneaky. Surprisingly though, they are pushing down the right hand flank, so my sneaky position quickly unravels, and I switch to AP and just start reversing into better cover. The reason I switch to AP, even though I'm at such a long distance, is because it's a shores, and the shores is basically paper. I consider it one of the most papery cruisers in the game at tier 7. Yes, that's even compared with the Pensacola, because it has absolutely no armor. You see I'm overpenning him even from this distance, like constant overpens with my AP. He literally has no armor at all. And I think I should have used HE there, but then again I wasn't expecting him to turn left and right like a madman like he did, so it was a hard time nailing the shot. But usually the shore citadel is pretty easy to nail, so hence the use of AP. The Cleveland of course has very good HE and very good AP. Well, the HE is questionably very good. It only becomes really very good when you get IFHE. When you get IFHE, it's very good. Without IFHE, it's more of a fire starter, but not really too much of a direct damage dealer. The shores does try to hide behind the islands, but as I mentioned earlier, Cleveland loves islands. Trying to hide behind islands against the Cleveland is not really going to work that well. The only thing you really do is prevent yourself from shooting back. Already got one fire started on him, and I'm just harassing him. Meanwhile, you can see random planes being popped out of the air, and that's of course one of the reasons why I quite like this position. Any sort of spotter planes, fighter planes that they try to use, well, I shoot them out of the sky quite quickly. And I also deny any sort of carrier planes. As you saw in the start, the carrier planes can't sail across the middle and just pick off any of my teammates. So it's kind of like a tier 6 Des Moines. You kind of want to take these central important positions and just shut down all sorts of spotting and pick at anyone you can basically shoot at. Unlike the Des Moines, however, this one is quite squishy. I am spotted, so that's a Graf Spee using Hydro. It looks like he's pushing a bit, so I'm just reversing out of the way. The shores looks like he is going to burn down before my shells can land. No, I actually do land a shell and finish him off, so that's nice. I do keep retreating though. I don't know what this Graf Spee is doing, but I have so many teammates here that it seems a bit insane, to be fair. Fuso is ramming into me from behind. Do I want to shoot him? I'm not really interested in fighting this Graf Spee. I need to keep an eye out for possible torps from him though. You gotta remember the Graf Spee has 8k in torps, so that's something I have to keep in mind. And I think those were them actually. And what I actually want to shoot at here is the New Mexico. Oh, torpedo planes getting too close to me. I pop defensive AA, I focus fire them, and they instantly start dropping out of the sky. Yes, these are tier 7 planes, but the Cleveland doesn't give a shit. That was one squad dead, and I focus fire the second squad as well. And when you run AFT and the module that increases your AA range, you get 7.2 km anti-air range, so they're gonna have a hard time fleeing from your range. The game isn't going too well though. We're already down 2 ships, and 1 cruiser, a DD, and a battleship, and the enemy looks to be pushing both flanks at the same time. And in general, my battleships, if you look at my battleships, they don't really have too good of positions. They haven't really been tanking, like trying to spread out to the flanks to stop this push. They've kind of just been sitting here in the middle. Cleveland doing it is a different thing, because the Cleveland gives the anti-air to so many different teammates, and the Cleveland's job isn't really tanking. Whereas a battleship hiding like this is a bit of a problem, because a hiding battleship doesn't project any threat, and that's something people often fail to understand, that when you're a battleship you kind of got to project this threat to the enemy, that I am here, I am this big badass battleship with these huge guns. If you try to push through my area, I will absolutely demolish you, so you should watch out, you should avoid this area. And that's something you kind of have to show a presence. But if you're hiding in a battleship, well, there's no one really there to discourage them, and innately the average World of Warships player is quite the coward. The average potato is he's very afraid of pushing, because oftentimes when he's pushed, he's gotten killed. So in general, new players tend to in general play rather safe than sorry. So if you're not there to project that threat, well, then they're kind of going to be pushing, and that's what we're seeing right now on the minimap. You can see how both flanks are being pushed at the same time. And the reason is not because they have a huge lead. No, in fact, I just equalized it. We have the same amount of ships. The problem is the positioning of my teammates is so passive that they have been happily charging through everywhere. Another trade, we're still fairly even, but our position is in huge trouble. The reason, of course, here is, especially for cruisers, this position is a huge issue, because we're being surrounded from battleships from every side, and these are tier 6 and tier 7 battleships, and I'm just a tier 6 cruiser. And of course in a cruiser you have to angle. If you don't angle, you die. You get citadeled and you die. And I'm gonna have to be angling against multiple places at the same time. So I focus on the closest threat, and the one that I can actually deal with right now, and that's the Gneisenau and the Hood pushing up this flank. If I can eliminate these, or at least force them to back away some, then I can afford to give some broadside without them instantly nailing me. But this is clearly a huge issue. The Hood was the first target, start a fire on him, see if he repairs it, and then I can burn him down. He's not ticking anymore, I don't see any fires. Yes, he's damaged Conrad, so that means I start shooting him again. That's a pretty common trick I've been using. You shoot at the battleship once, and then you switch to the other battleship next to him. Usually the battleship will go, oh, he's not shooting me anymore, I'm safe, and then he pops his repair, and that's pretty much exactly what you're waiting and hoping for. And as soon as that happens, I switch back to him, and as you can see, he's got a permanent fire. By permanent fire, I mean a fire he cannot repair that will burn the entire duration. Now, if you don't run any sort of fire reduction perks, one fire deals 18% of the total health of the ship. So 2 fires is 36%. So getting 2 fires is usually very, very useful, and that's my second fire. Usually though, you got these 15% reductions, sometimes 15% if you got the captain perk, and you got the module and so forth. And of course, if you're healing at the same time, you can heal 100% of the damage, so it doesn't end up being as much. But the theory is there. 1 fire is 18%, then without any modifications. The issue here is, of course, that the Cleveland armor is paper. I'm angled, I'm sailing away, but even the Hood with the 380mm guns easily nails me for 10k. And see, this is where the problem starts popping up. I have a Gneisenau, a Hood on my left side. I have another Gneisenau straight behind me, and on my right side I have a New Mexico. So I'm literally surrounded by battleships same tier or higher tier. So I'm constantly staring, not just at the detected sign, but I'm keeping an eye out on the minimap, and I'm trying to present as small of a target to all of these as possible. Focus fire the fighter plane real fast. Our hero needs to get undetected so he doesn't get sniped, and I'm trying to finish off this Hood ASAP. I need to kill him off, because the Gneisenau is still so far away that if I can get rid of the Hood, then I can take a risk by showing some broadside to the Gneisenau, which is exactly what I'm doing now. You see the Gneisenau on the east flank, I'm showing full broadside to him, but I'm angling against the Gneisenau, that is, I'm shooting at now, and I'm angling against the New Mexico behind me. So I'm taking a bit of a risk by giving a lot of broadside, and if he does shoot at me, I will of course try to evade, but generally Gneisenau dispersion is very random, and he would need some luck to really nail that citadel and finish me off. Once again though, the position is really awkward for us, mostly because of how much we lost so much map control early in the game because of the very passive positioning of my team, so this is really an uphill battle at this point. The York dies, but this Gneisenau should be dead. Actually, I thought the fires would kill him, but they didn't, so I'm gonna have to finish him off. In general, when you fight multiple targets, you want to kill off the low HP target first, because you want to remove his guns from the equation. You want to take out guns, basically take out the firepower that could kill you. And in this case, that's the Gneisenau behind me. I think the carrier is gonna kill him though, so that's good. I'm okay with these kind of kill steals. Well, not even kill steals, we just need to kill. So at this point we managed to whittle it down to a 3 versus 3. But this Gneisenau is still chasing me and still wants to kill me. I'm constantly angling, and luckily, as I said, Gneisenau dispersion. One of the reasons why I personally don't really like the ship is the inaccurate guns, and in my Cleveland right now I'm happily exploiting this fact. Some good torps on him. The Fuso is pushing in, which I don't really recommend. Fuso has a big advantage at range because of how much firepower he can bring, but if he gets into a brawl, the Gneisenau is gonna not just be able to citadel him easily, but also gonna be able to torp him. So I'm just gonna try to kill off this Gneisenau ASAP. Here there was a bit of an issue, to be fair. I think I could have been closer positioned to the Fuso while at the same time fighting the Gneisenau and protected him from the carrier torps, but honestly I don't think it was that big of a misplay from me, because I needed to actively kite and angle against him, otherwise I would have gotten killed. So ultimately I think the bigger issue here was the Fuso closing the distance instead of sailing after me. The Fuso unnecessarily closed the distance and kind of expanded the distance between us. At this point though, with 4 kills to my name, we have managed to turn this around quite a bit this game, even though our positioning seemed very, very desperate. I popped defensive AA since the enemy carrier is trying to snipe ours, and if they snipe our carrier, I think we're gonna have some pretty big issues, because I'm gonna need his spotting to help me a fair amount. The enemy carrier though reacts quite quickly. As soon as he sees my defensive AA spreading out his planes, he backs off and he doesn't commit, which of course saves the planes. Quite smart. I'm tempted to reset the cooldown on my defensive AA here. For those that aren't aware, if you press P, which is the default button for turning off anti-air and secondaries, if you press P while your anti-air consumable is active, it instantly turns it off. And then you can press turn on your AA again, and basically you stop you don't have to wait the full duration, which can save you anywhere between maybe even 20-30 seconds until the next defensive AA is up. Ultimately though, I was hoping I might be able to shoot down some planes, but I should have probably played it safe. Focus firing the fighter. Actually need to switch to the bomber in case he goes for it. Nope. My presence still scares them away. At this point I am protecting both the Fuso and the Hiryu from this enemy carrier, because the enemy carrier is obviously ready to strike down either of these two, and I'm the only one really keeping them alive at this point. So luckily the Fuso does decide to follow me, as I want to push. We can't just sit there and hope that it will turn in our favor. The enemy kind of needs to push, but considering the carrier was spotted, I want to try to punish him as much as possible. He goes in with the bomber now. I instantly focus fire the bomber as in between shots, so my AA does gain the benefit, the bonus, while I'm focusing on the Hiryu. I get a fire on him, which is great, and I once again force away the bombers. But the problem here is that he is spotting me for the Fiji, and the Fiji was last seen on the other side of this island, and I only have 12k HP. He's going for me, but I've been shooting down so many of these planes that when he finally does commit to me, he doesn't really land any hits, and he loses the planes on the way out as well. The Fiji was spotted, you saw on the other side of the island, and I can see a smoke. He's trying to shoot me. That's why I turned behind the island. I'm forced to turn back left now, because I need to turn into the torps to dodge them. I focus fire the planes once again, of course, but I turn into them to dodge them. I do slow down, because I do not want to sail past this island, because the Fiji is sitting there in a smoke and we have no counter to that. The planes spot me, and even the hero spots me right now as I'm shooting him. So if I push around this island, the Fiji is going to absolutely nail me. So I'm just going to calmly keep this island mass between me and him and see if I can get undetected and see if I can maybe creep up and ambush the Fiji. I get undetected now, which is great news for me, because most likely this will also trigger the Fiji to move. Usually you don't want to sit in a smoke if you don't know where the enemy is, and he's lost vision of me now, so it's more than likely he started moving because he has no idea what's going on. And he has in fact left his smoke when he lost vision, and my fighter plane spots him, which he did try to torp me as well, so it was good I played this safe. And now I have him in the open, and in the open I'm not afraid of taking this fight at all. In the open I will happily take this fight. I sadly only get one citadel as I come around the corner. I do start angling straight after though. Don't want to be giving him any free citadels on me, and I finish off the Fiji with a Kraken. And at this point this game is pretty much in the bag. There's still of course some risks involved. The enemy carrier does have some planes left, and the Fuso is very low HP. The Hiryu is very low HP as far as I know. Well, he's not very low HP, but he didn't seem that confident at playing carrier. So I'm gonna try to keep them alive while I chase this. Now, that was an accidental shot. I intentionally shot here. The reason for shooting was I wanted to know if the carrier was straight north of me. If the carrier had been straight north of me and I would have shot, I would have gotten detected because he would have been able to see me. But because I didn't get detected after a shot, it tells me the carrier has turned right and is behind this island. The planes coming up behind that island right after confirmed my suspicion. So using this trick of basically my own spotting range, using it against him, I was able to deduce which way the enemy carrier has gone. So that's why I turn hard right here and I'm pushing into the cap instead of continuing hard straight north. The idea here is, of course, I want to catch him off guard or catch up to him here. Something interesting happened here though. The bombers seem to be going for my Fuso, who's very low HP. So you see I instantly start slowing down and turning. I pop defensive AA and I start focus fire them because I don't want to leave my Fuso behind at the mercy of these planes, because as I said, he's very low HP. And you can see the planes are being shredded, and I am denying him the possibility of striking this Fuso, and he has to pull back his other bomber plane. At this point we also have vision of the enemy Hiryu. He went exactly the way I deduced, and at this point he really has no way of getting out anymore. The bomber plane will keep him spotted. The bomber plane is hovering near me, and he can't really kill off the bomber plane because my AA will deny him. He keeps trying to go for it because this guy keeps trying to bomb him, but I don't think he really has any chance. And yeah, my next volley should really finish off this guy. And what looked like a very bad game based on just how much control the enemy team had and how we were being pushed in from every angle was able to be turned around into a very nice victory actually. Now, what makes this game so amusing here is, as I said, I'm using a lot of the flags from this hood mission. So 150k damage, sure, 32 planes, 6 kills, considering it was against tier 7s as well, obviously a nice game, but 16.5k XP, only 6k free XP. I don't think I was using the Ouroboros one, but looking at team score, 2.7k, obviously topped the scoreboard with this performance. And if we look forward to the detail report, 50k spotting damage, only 900k potential, not really that much. But then again, the times when I was dodging, it was battleships, and they were really just trying to finish me off or kill me off, and it was important damage that was dodged, but there was very little tanking involved. And now, of course, for the amusing part, Commander XP. 49,000 Commander XP, and this is just with a 50% daily win bonus. This is, of course, using my Victory Salute camo that gives me 50%, using Equal Speed Charlie London flag, using the Red Dragon flag, using the Hydra flag, plus the daily win bonus. And then we add all the other bonuses for Commander XP, like the Dragon flag and all of these, and it gets multiplied to that massive 49k Commander XP bonus. And honestly, I can't wait when we get some sort of double XP weekend, or maybe even 300% XP. 200, just a 200% XP weekend alone will make for some absolutely hilarious games, because I'm hoping to get something ridiculous like a 60-70k Commander XP game. Should be quite amusing to attempt to achieve that. Anyway, this was my Cleveland commentary. If you want to know what Cleveland build I'm using, I'll link to my previous Cleveland one, since I already covered the build in that vid. I hope you guys enjoyed it.